Chris Murray, give you my Dynasty Madden League Week 1 Golden Picks. Now, listen, we had an interesting off-season. A lot of moves was made, but it's the 2022 season, and the road to high stakes has begun. Now, for guys that does not know what high stakes is, it's basically pretty much when one season you put it all on the line. It's the moment that you build your team up for to determine your draft selection in the Madden 20 draft. It's a lot of rules also that play a factor into it, but it's a very interesting season. But it's the 2022 season, and it's my time to give up those golden picks. So first up, we have under 2 rated in the Washington Redskins versus T-Pain on Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Alright, the Washington Redskins are entering this matchup with a top 5 ranked secondary on paper, with cornerback Sam Beasley at the cornerback position, with Malik Spears on the other side, who's entering his second season, looking to have that breakout year. You got Monte Nicholson at the strong safety position. Can this be the year where everything gels together for this Washington Redskins team on the defensive side of the ball? Last season, this team struggled on the offensive side. You know, they couldn't figure out how to establish the run, and they definitely could not figure out how to protect their quarterback, giving up 52 sacks. Is a big question mark entering this game at the quarterback position for under 2 rated and the coaching staffs. They're going to have to figure out, number one, most importantly, how to protect the quarterback, because you cannot expect for your team to come out week after week after week and put up W's if your quarterback is back there running for dear life. Switch gears. T-Pain and these Buccaneers, you know, last season struggled at the same exact thing the Redskins did, and that was protecting the quarterback. However, GM T-Pain managed to fix things up this offseason after bringing in rookie left tackle Graham out of LSU. He traded for Smith with the Dallas Cowboys, and he also brought in 2 other linemen. So it looks like GM T-Pain is trying to patch up that shaky offensive line and get back to that ground and pound type style offense that he likes to run. However, Jameis Winston is toxic. Something just isn't right out there, man. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's partying too much. I don't know if you know, he's eating too many W's. I don't know what's going on with him, but he's very toxic right now, and this Tampa Bay organization is going to have to figure things out very fast. This game, I think, is going to come down to which quarterback, number one, most importantly, can be protected. Number 2, can figure out how to manage the game and do not turn the ball over. Vegas has under 2 rated favorite by 2.5 points. I think Vegas got this one wrong. I like the moves that T-Pain or Tampa Bay Buccaneers made this offseason by picking up their offensive line. And with my pick, I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers getting the W going into week 2. Next up, we have Westside Pablo and the New York Giants versus Kirk and those Green Bay Packers. Okay. Brian Bowman had a crazy rookie season, man. This dude, you know, he set the DML on fire. I'm just gonna put it like that, man. He balled out. You know. This offseason, he trained with John Ross, Joseph Myers, Rashard Bass, Randy Moss at the Nike camp. So I'm expecting a more explosive second season in the DML. But something, you know, that hasn't happened a while out there in New York is they got all of their guys healthy. You know, you got Saquon Barkley, he's back. You got OBJ, he's back. You got Ingram, he's back. So I expect for this offense to look a whole lot better and for things to definitely get a whole lot more easy for Brian at the wide receiver position. However, man, can the condition coach / trainers keep these guys healthy It seemed like last year when Westside Pablo was, doing his thing on the offensive side of the ball, guys just was dropping off like flies left to right. The trainer has to do what he's paid to do, and that's to keep these guys in shape and keep them healthy for a full 16-game season. Kirk and those Green Bay Packers seemed to pull the tank up. They parked it up, put it in the garage, because he made some moves, bringing in a big offensive lineman this offseason. Colbert's back healthy. Adams came back. He was signed to a little RA deal. New coaching staffs was brought in to add some fire to this Green Bay Packers team, who seemed to be dying off last year. So let's see if Kirk can figure out how to get back to that winning style football that we seen him do in previous seasons. However, you have to switch up your offensive game style. You cannot expect to run the ball 1,000 times a game and get multiple W's in the DML. It's not going to happen. Eventually, it's going to run out, and guys are going to zero in on what they know that you like to do. You got to mix it up, man. You got to mix your play calling up. You have to mix it up in this game. I think it's going to come down to who can get their key guys going fast. Vegas has the Packers favorite by 1.5 points. I think Vegas got this one wrong. I'm going with Westside Pablo, the New York Giants, getting the W going into week 2. Next up, we got KP and the Chiefs versus Solomon and those New York Jets. The Chiefs, man, they got fire in all positions, man. On the offensive side of the ball, with Tyreek Hill, Roman Sayers, shotgun arm, Patrick Mahomes. They brought in veteran tight end Rob Gronkowski. That's all good. Don't get me wrong, like, that's a hell of an offense. But can they protect Patrick Mahomes when he's dropping back? Because this seems to be the Kansas City Chiefs' kryptonite. Even though they got all that firepower on the offensive side of the ball, it's only as important as the offensive line, because those are the guys that gives that quarterback time to drop back, make reads, or the running back enough time to pick big holes to hit. So that offensive line plays a very important part in any offense, and the Kansas City Chiefs have not seemed to figure it out, because last season Patrick Mahomes, like I mentioned before, was sacked 39 times. If this team can figure out how, because KP's coming off one of the worst seasons that the DML has ever witnessed. I believe we finished 8-6 or something like that, 8-6 or 8-8. So it's just not looking too good out there in Kansas City. But however, man, this guy is a hell of a user, a hell of a GM. So I'm interested to see how he's going to approach this matchup. Now, the New York Jets. Can Solomon get this New York Jets teams back to their winning ways? This right here is going to be a big test, because he's going up against, by far, one of the top 10 DML users. So this right here will be able, you will see where his stick skills is at. He brought in a super speedy, fast wide receiver to pair up with Anderson, and that big Megatron wide receiver. But let's see if he can go toe-to-toe with a top 10 DML user. Vegas has the Chiefs favorite by 5.5 points. I think Vegas got this one right, man. I think that this game is going to comes down to what secondary can slow down the opposite wide receiver group. So I think that how this Chiefs team is stacked up right now is just way too much for those New York Jets. So with my pick, I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs getting the W going into week 2. Next up, we got SJ and the Houston Texans versus Darkness and the Tennessee Titans. SJ, erase that memory from last season. This is a must-win game out of the gate. This is a confidence builder for your shaky team who seem to have question marks all over the board. You cannot allow this game to get out of your hands. Simple as that. Darkness and the Tennessee Titans, man. So much talent. So much talent, man. So much talent. But it just can't seem, to come out of the darkness, man. Like, last season, the team started off 3-0, but got back to their old habits, dropping off and completely falling off the mat. This all season, I understand, Darkness brought in another, solid offensive lineman and that he drafted through the draft. But I just at this point, it doesn't, to me, honestly, it doesn't matter who he brings into this organization, because they have to figure out how to uplift this dark cloud that's over out there in Tennessee. Simple as that. They have a solid quarterback. They have solid wide receivers. They have a solid running back. They even have a solid defense. But for some reason, the organization just can't seem to get it right. I definitely think someone on that coaching staff is going to be on the hot seat come week 4. But hopefully, this team can take all that talent that they have out there on both sides of the ball and just make it gel and work. But however, man, I don't think that this is going to be the week that it's going to happen. Vegas has SJ and the Houston Texans favored by 4.5 points. I think this game is going to come down to who wants it more, and in my opinion, I got SJ getting a W going into week 2. Next up, we have tight working the Miami Dolphins versus skill trading the Buffalo Bills. Okay, so rookie quarterback might get his DML debut against a defense who last season couldn't stop a lick of nothing. Tight work. This is not going to be it's not going to be an easy game than what a lot of guys expect. You got to stick to what works. Stick to what you know. Ground and pound and making your defense cause turnovers. Skill trade, man. I'm telling you right now. Skill trade those Buffalo Bills. You need to pray to the man God and ask for a blessing, because there's a dark raining cloud over Buffalo. Simple as that. Nothing that this team touches can work. It just seems like everything that this team touches just turns completely to mud. So I don't know what's going on out there, but it is what it is. Vegas has tight work favorite by 9.5 points. This game is going to come down to tight work not falling victim to the trap. I think Vegas got this one right, and with my pick, I'm taking tight work and the Miami Dolphins getting the W going into week 2. Next up, we got my Cleveland Browns versus Flair and the Pittsburgh Steelers. This game right here is going to be a very interesting game. Flair made some moves. He got quarterback Carson Wentz, so that's going to always be, you always got a game plan for him, because he's that dual threat quarterback that can either shred your secondary or he can kill you if you drop back too far with his feet. This game is going to come down to how disciplined my guys are. We got a couple young guys that's coming in. They got to fill some big shoes, but it's going to be a good one. I never pick against myself. Vegas has me favored by 2.5 points. I think Vegas got this one right. Taking my Cleveland Browns, getting the W going into week 2. Next up, we got the big homie and the Cincinnati Bengals versus Bruce and those Baltimore Ravens. What happened to the Bengals team? In this matchup, just simple as that. All season, I'm going to say this. I'm going to stand by this. It depends on what Cincinnati Bengals team that we get. It seems like every single week we're getting a different Cincinnati Bengals team. the big homie. Dog, listen to what I'm telling you. Take this advice. Stick to the basics. Stick to what you know. As simple as that. Forget doing all the extra shit. Just relax. Roll one up. Take a shot. Sip on whatever you like sipping on. And play your game. Stop getting out of your game and getting out of character. The Baltimore Ravens, this team seems to be building on the defensive side of the ball every single offseason. It's looking like that 2001 defense that led them to the promised land by NFL greats like Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Rob Woodson. Can we be witnessing the new era of the Baltimore Ravens defense? GM Bruce is definitely building, and he's building something real solid over there. I think this matchup is going to come down to who can cause turnovers and capitalize off those turnovers. This is a game that's a very important game because this is always want to secure number one, most importantly, division wins. You know, and I think Bruce and the big homie understand that. However, Vegas got the Ravens favored by 3 points. I think Vegas got this one right. I think that Baltimore defense is just too much for the big homie. So I got Bruce getting the W going into week 2. Next up, we have Taz and the Detroit Lions versus HBO and the Dallas Cowboys. Whew. Secondary. In this matchup, Taz and his secondary and rookie quarterback DJ Edmonds get a test right from the gate. Going up against Joseph Myers and that other 6'5" slow dude that HBO drafted that he thinks is just so great. You know, defense isn't the issue out there in Detroit. The issue is the offense has to figure out how to put up points, which I think Taz, you know, watching and monitoring this team through the preseason, figured it out. But the biggest issue is just flat out, man, the Madden bullshit. Can the Detroit Lions figure out how to not allow the Madden BS to affect their game, which is very hard for anybody. But just watching some of them Detroit games, man, it's just crazy. Whether it's a ball going to the back of the helmet of one of their players, a user diving 200 feet in the air to make an interception, or just the running back not hitting the right hole, tripping and fumbling the ball. It's just all types of Madden BS that's going on out there in Detroit. But the coaching staff and GM Taz are going to have to figure out when stuff like that happens to keep their guys mentally in the game. Now, Dallas. HBO, it's time to wake up, man. It's time to wake up to reality. This isn't the 80s and this isn't the 90s. Your team has to understand that they're not winning anymore. This organization is going down the toilet. You know, right to the sewer where the rest of this shit is at. You got to get your guys going. On paper, this is one of the most solidest offense that you can put together. Flat out. You know, there's some question marks on the GM making horrible decisions, the owner allowing the GM to continue to make horrible decisions, whatever, man. You need to figure out how to get these guys going. Now, rookie wide receiver Richard out of Nebraska brought all this hype to the DML, and HBO seems to be seeing something that clearly no one else sees. So let's see if this guy is what HBO is making him to be, or is he who we thought he was. You know, this is going to be a very interesting matchup to see. Now, Vegas has the Dallas Cowboys favored by 4.5 points. I think Vegas got this shit wrong. I think Taz and the Detroit Lions is going to get the W, not falling victim to the street routes, shutting it down, swatting that ball, getting the W, going into week 2. Next up, we have Tone Dog and the Raiders versus JB and the Broncos. Division battle off the gate. Amari Cooper gets a shot at facing his old team. This should be a good one, man. I'm telling you right now. Tone is going to have to figure out how to get productivity out of his receiving group, flat out. Because outside of Roberts, there's nobody else that produces. Somebody's going to have to step up and become that second option for Carr. Simple as that. JB. Oh man. Will this be the year, man, that this Denver Broncos team make that push or that stride to the light? JB made some good moves this offseason. You know, bringing in talent in the secondary. Still has Von Miller, still has Chubb. So this Broncos team does not lack talent on either side of the ball. It's just that sometimes the play calling seems not to match the flow of the game, you know. So this is going to be a matchup that JB can show that some form of life, some form of light or whatever, man. You know, the number one goal always heading to any season is first to compete in your division. Then all the other goals come after that. Vegas has the Oakland Raiders favored by 6 points. I think Vegas got this one right. This game's going to come down to pure stick skills, and I think Tone knows how to stick to the basics and come out and gets W's. So with my pick, I'm taking the Oakland Raiders getting the W going into week 2. Next up, we have Rich 215 and those Arizona Cardinals versus Eddie Forrest and the LA Chargers. Rich 215 crowned himself the division champ already. You know, he stated that in this off season, my fault, last season actually, in the postseason. So the words will be put to the test in this week 1 matchup. He's going up against a top tier user. You know, simple as that. GM Rich almost struck gold this off season, landing quarterback Carson Wentz. But right after the deal was made, the Cards accountant and someone over there managed to not fill out the proper paperwork. So entering this matchup, there's a big question mark at who is going to get the green light at the quarterback position. GM Eddie Forrest, you know, just can't get enough of Rashard Bash, you know. And it's crazy because this offense already was a top 5 offense. Now you bring in speedy superstar wide receiver Rashard Bass. Man, the DML better take note because the Chargers just got very dangerous. You had Eckler, who had an amazing 2021 season running the ball. Can you imagine how things are going to lighten up for him now when people can't just come down and stack the box? Woo! It's going to be crazy, man. These guys had some history, these two users. I believe when Rich was the owner of the Jets, they had a very intense game that came down to a crucial turnover with Andy Forrest turning it over in the red zone. So I definitely know he remembers that. So this game is going to come down. Woo-hoo! It's going to be a good one right here. This game is going to come down to who basically pretty much can create explosive plays and capitalize off of them. Vegas has the Chargers favored by 3 points. I think that Vegas got this one right, man. It's just so much firepower out there in LA. I can't see that Arizona Cardinals secondary holding up with those wide receivers. So with my pick, I'm taking the Chargers getting the W going into week 2. Next up, we have the schemer in the New England Patriots versus Hamilton and the Minnesota Vikings. Man, the schemer in those Patriots, seemed to be making signs of taking over that division last season. But then they diverted to a whole different direction. This team has to understand that they have to play consistent all year long. It is a 16-game season. You can never take no breaks. Even if you're on the road to a playoff spot, you gotta understand that there's multiple other teams that has the same goal as you. And that's to grind and get a playoff spot and potentially compete for a banner. So this organization has to understand that. You got superstar quarterback Andrew Luck coming back after an amazing 2021 season. They will be without Ryan Flower, who got traded to the Philadelphia Eagles this offseason. GM Freddie Jackson told reporters that he's confident, after losing a couple veteran players, that he's confident in his young guys that was brought in this offseason and the young guys that are entering their second season with his organization. This will be a matchup that we will see. On the other side of the fence, you got Hamilton and these Minnesota Vikings, who I'm getting all different types of vibes from this organization. Do they want to win now? Are they building for the future? Do they trust their quarterback? What's going on with them trading away Cook? Like, can guys stay healthy? I'm getting all types of different vibes from this organization. But those are not my answers. Those are not my questions to answer. This organization needs to produce very fast, because if you watch those fans, you can literally see the steam coming out of their heads and the frustration all over their faces. So I can definitely expect, if this team does not get back to their winning ways, for this organization to shake things up as far as the coaching staff and a whole lot of other people. But Vegas has the New England Patriots favored by 7 points. I think Vegas jumped through the roof with that point spread, but I definitely think Vegas did not get this right. And my first upset pick in week 1 is I'm taking those Minnesota Vikings getting a W at home going into week 2. Next up, we have C-Rob and the Carolina Panthers versus King Vitamin and the LA Rams. What the hell happened to the LA Rams last season? Team started off blazing hot. I thought that Vitamin was back to his old ways, but somehow Ray Charles managed to take over the team again at the quarterback position. Vitamin, you have to understand that it is a 16-game season. You totally vanished that second half of the 2021 season. Hopefully things will be on the upside and we can see Vitamin get back to his winning ways. C-Rob coming into this matchup with his head held high. The Panthers defensive coordinator told reporters this matchup is strictly a confidence builder for our defense. We're facing a quarterback that loves to turn the ball over. Damn, it's like that. Vegas has the LA Rams favored in this matchup by 2 points. I think Vegas got this one wrong, man. I can't trust, who's throwing the ball out there in LA. So with my pick, I'm taking the Panthers, getting a bunch of turnovers, getting a W, going into week 2. Next up, we have Matty Ice and the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Bucs and the Chicago Bears. Very, very, very important matchup for both users. This game already can impact the playoff standings, and it's only week 1. It's only week 1, and this game can already impact the playoff standing out there in the NFC. Both guys fell short last season, taking an early exit in the postseason. I expect it to be a ground and pound running game, because both of these users love to run the rock and lean on their defense to create turnovers. So this game is strictly going to come down to which user can take away the run game and make them one-dimensional. Simple as that. Make them one-dimensional. This is gonna be a good game, man. It's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be a good game right here. But Vegas has the Bears favorite by 3.5. I think Vegas got this one wrong. With my pick, I'm taking the Philadelphia Eagles, getting the W out there in Chi-Town, going into week 2. Next up, we have Marizi and the Indianapolis Colts versus Expert and those Jacksonville Jaguars. Marizi, your first goal is to be able to compete in your division. This is the time that you need to show up, show out, and ball the fuck out, man. You cannot expect to make a run at a playoff spot if you cannot compete in your division, and you getting a tough matchup from the gate to prove where you at this season. Expert, pretty much this team, man, last year balled out. We're on the blazing run, made a Super Bowl appearance, but fell short in their goal. But after interviews and watching this team play in the preseason, they simply feel like they got unfinished business. Saying they got unfinished business. The core group of guys has returned in this 2022 season, and they seem very focused. And this matchup right here couldn't came wrapped up with a bigger bow on the top of the box for Expert. This is a guy that he has been blowing out since he joined the division. Simple as that. And GM Expert stated that they will not take a L to the Indianapolis Colts organization all cycle long. So both guys have something to prove in this matchup. We have Marizi having to prove that basically pretty much he can contend in this division. Expert proving that this guy will not get a W on these Jacksonville Jaguars all cycle long. Vegas, however, thinks that Expert is definitely going to get the W. They have him favored by 15.5 points. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, 15.5 points. Me, I think Vegas got this one right with the point spread, and I think Vegas got this one right with Expert getting a W. So on my pick, I'm taking the Jacksonville Jaguars, winning by multiple touchdowns, getting a W, going into week 2. Next up, we have Nasty Newt and Atlanta Falcons versus Jay and Seattle Seahawks. Okay. After, getting hit with the injury bug last season, which derailed Nasty Newt and Atlanta Falcons from making the playoffs, everybody's back healthy, and we finally get a chance to see this Atlanta Falcons defense as one. We got Bradley Gills, we got Deion Jones, we got McKinley, we got Neal. We got so much talent out there. We actually get to see these guys together. Now, will the pieces to the puzzle fit together, or would it just turn into mud? GM Nasty Newt brought in rookie quarterback Joey Gill, who didn't have that good of a showing in preseason. So I want to know, will he get some playing time? Will he get the green light? Or will Nasty Newt and that coaching staff stick with veteran Matty Ice? Jay and the Seahawks, man. Told reporters this week that this organization out there in Seattle pushes their self past their goal bar every single season. And I have to tip my hat off to him, after seeing what he has done with the Seattle Seahawks organization and how he rebuilt this team and made them do a whole 360 to actually compete and contend in the already tough division, already tough conference, is just outstanding, you know. But he's going into a matchup versus another GM who feels the same exact way, that his guys is able to contend in the DML. This is going to be a very electrifying game. Ooh, this is gonna be a crazy game right here, man. It's gonna be a crazy game. This game right here is gonna come down to which coaching staff can outsmart the other. Simple as that. You know, simple as that. Who can bring something to the playing field that no one has yet seen? Vegas thinks that the Seattle Seahawks is going to get this W because they have them favored by 7.5 points, which is mind-boggling, being as though the level of both users, how they just match up equally. It's going to be a crazy game. But with my pick, I think Vegas definitely got it right, because I'm going to go with the Seattle Seahawks also, but I don't think they're going to win by 7.5 points. But however, I do think they're going to get the W going into week 2. Next up, we have the DML game of the week that the people has voted in. We have Sweets 99 and the San Francisco 49ers versus 85 and those 3-time Super Bowl DML champs. Woo! This is going to be a good one right here. You have 85, you know, who just pretty much stamped his name in the DML history, joining only Hot Tub to win 3 Super Bowls back to back to back, baby. Damn. After winning 3 Super Bowls back to back to back, we asked owner Eddie, how do you keep your guys engaged? How do you not fall into that slump as far as saying, dang, I just won 3. I didn't win just not 1, I won 2, I won 3, and they all was back to back to back. How do you keep that level of focus? And he said something, just win another. And this team is put together and managed to be able to definitely do that this season. You know, all their core guys have came back. And after watching that practice, man, you would have thought they was playing for another Super Bowl. They was out there hitting, they was running, you know, and the level of competitiveness on that practice field was just crazy. You know, after a blazing hot 2021 season start for those 49ers, you know, after hitting that second half of the season, they seemed to get on coast mode, and they took some hits, man, at the end of the season that I think affected their playoff run, losing key guys in multiple positions. This 49ers team has a big thorn on this side that's labeled New Orleans Saints. This game right here is a must win to just pull that thorn out a little bit for Sweets 99. You know, just give his guys a little bit of confidence, because they're definitely going to run into each other again down the road. Both users, as far as, you know, talent, both of these teams match up equally. Both teams have solid front four, solid secondary, solid linebacker group, offensive side of the ball, solid running backs, solid O-line, solid quarterbacks, solid wide receivers. You know, this game is going to come down to strictly one thing and one thing only. What team wants it more? And the 49ers in the past have not shown that they wanted it more. Simple as that. Whew. It's going to be crazy. This is going to be crazy, right? It's going to be crazy. I'm telling you. Vegas has The New Orleans Saints favored by 2.5 points. I think Vegas got this one right, man. You know, the 49ers need to bring something different to this game, man. They need to go back, need to watch every time they played this team. You know, that feeling of being knocked out on a consistent basis of that NFC Conference Championship. They need to feel that feeling. They need to bring that feeling right there and understand that they don't want to feel that feeling no more. Put that chip on your shoulder. But with my pick, I'm taking the Saints, getting the W, going into week 2. I'm your host, OG Chris Murray. Those are my golden picks for week 1 of the 2022 season. We out.